bonjour, or I guess I should say yassas, because I am still in Greece.
Yes,
Obviously,
yes,
yassas. I'm
yes.
with Joe,
Yes.
with Joe Worsley to preview uh, a massive weekend of knockout rugby in France. The emotional low for Grenoble. They'll have to bounce back and have a crack at Perpignan in the access match. And then we have got the top 14 playoffs beginning with the barrage and games on Friday and Saturday night for us to get our teeth into. If you haven't already, hit subscribe on the channel. And a reminder, we're bringing you all of the season of Pro D2 next season starting at the end of August. And it'll be a roller coaster, which for us and the live rugby culminated in, well, I don't know, have you seen any photos or videos of as Jerome Bosfiel and the rest of the Montauban lads just been on it for a week, Joe?
Yeah, I think so. Judging from the videos, the whole town came out to welcome home, as is the way in France, holding up their trophy, getting cheered on, and having what is probably because they didn't expect. They were happy as expectations were make the playoffs, great season. And what they've done since is incredible. So after they made the playoffs, they had a few drinks. After they won the game against Colombia, a few drinks, and then after our game, I think they started to think, Christ, we got a chance here. Had a couple of drinks, only a couple that time, and then they won the final. Just still amazing. What an amazing result. How they're going to do next year, God knows, because they haven't prepared any. They haven't prepared any extra players coming in. They'll be on the phones all this week trying to recruit players with the extra massive chunk of money they get from getting promoted. Yeah, I think it's still an incredible story. Still an incredible story for me. Amazing.
Well, we'll come on to Grenoble, Perpignan, and who is going to be in top 14 and who's going to be in Pro D2 next season. We'll come on to that. But let's talk top 14 barrage. We have got... Well, here's something I'll start with, Joe. There was an article in L'Equipe this week that ranked the top 14 stadiums, and they gave them scores for history, atmosphere, fan experience. Yeah. And the top one is the Stade Chaban-Delmas in Bordeaux, one you know very well, Joe. That came top.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
It's in town. You can walk from town. You can walk from town. The stadium itself is good. The corporate's not great, but hey, that's not the end of the world. Around it, there are bars and some amazing restaurants, and the views are incredible. It's just a great stadium. Great stadium.
And packed. 32,000 average attendance this year. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I think top 14's broken the records this year with nearly 3 million fans coming in.
Yes, incredible. So, second on that list out of the 14, and only 1 point behind, was the Stade Jean Daugère, the home of Bayonne, which is going to be playing host. And I guess that's the point. How influential is the fact that Bayonne managed to nab that fourth spot and a home barrage match? They're facing Clermont in what looks like a really tasty matchup.
Massively important. You saw the match against Toulon. They won at home the other day. Toulon sent a decent team. They sent a good team. Only Baptiste Serin maybe was one of the few players who's rested, and even he was on the bench. So at home, they can battle it out because Camille Lopez wasn't playing again, and it was not the free-flowing Bayonne we're used to seeing, who can score incredible tries, do incredible things. This game was very much an arm wrestle, and Bayonne did really well to win it. And I think away from home they wouldn't. At home they would win those kind of games.
Yeah, and just to emphasise that, third place on that list that L'Equipe did, only 1 point out of 100 further behind as well, with 73 points, was the Marcel Michelin in Clermont, which is a massive source of inspiration and energy for that team. So going on the road, I think that will be influential. Although one stat to look at as well is when you look at the top 14 table, Bayonne finished in fourth with 15 wins. However, they had minus 18 points difference. What does that tell us?
So it's interesting. Now, for everyone back home, playing at home maybe motivates you a bit more. That extra little bit of motivation probably doesn't make you a better player in terms of being better passing or whatever, but it gets you that little bit extra work. So you're off the floor a little bit quicker, you're throwing yourself into the tackle a little bit harder, you're chasing harder. So all those little tiny differences make up this ability to at home have a performance that's better. And that is going to be a factor because Clermont, like Toulon, are not an Equipe who are free-flowing like Toulouse and can change pace really, really quickly and break you that way. They're a team that are a more classic structural team who would break you down using traditional rugby methods: maul, scrum, defence, kicking game, territory. Clermont are that kind of team, and Bayonne did a good job against Toulon. I think they can do the similar job against Clermont, but really the stats, if you look at the stats, Bayonne's attack wasn't that great in terms of scoring points this year. The defence, they're 8th or 9th with Cast. And those two stats, the one positive thing, their territory, they're very good at territory. But statistically, it doesn't look that great apart from territory for them. And that will be an important feature because a team like Clermont aren't going to get so many opportunities in the 22 where they can more and batter their way over the line. Like with a big physical team they have, they've got more money, more power. But if Bayonne can keep them away, keep them out of the 22, that will work. And I think Bayonne will win. Just that home factor is a big one, like you talked about. And they had a team in Toulon they beat the weekend, or a better version of Clermont. I think they can do the same thing again.
I am just slightly gutted, as you said, no Camille Lopez, that we're being robbed of Camille Lopez and Benjamin Urdepaleta. The two old stagers in the 10 jerseys. We've been robbed of that. But on the flip side, the Baptiste Chanot is in absolutely wild form at the minute at scrum half. And
yeah, I mean, that game they won 55 whatever was against Montpellier. Did they beat Montpellier? I can't remember. They beat somebody
Montpellier last time out.
At the end of the game, he just cut loose. The second half, he was cutting loose. He's an exciting.
That was against Cast. No, it wasn't. It was against Perpignan. I think he was involved in all the tries that they scored. Oh no, Stade Francais. It was when they absolutely rinsed Stade Francais in the second half.
No, yeah, he's an exciting talent. So yeah, Clermont are going to need the X Factor guys to do stuff to win that game, and he's one of them for sure.
Well, moving on to the other one then, I think I agree with you. I think it will be Bayonne that come through, and Toulon against Castres. I could see this one being a little bit more one-sided. In fact, you have to sort of ask the question: how did Castres actually make it into the barrage?
Yeah, again, on the stats, statistically they don't deserve to be there, but the stats and lies is the famous saying, isn't it? But I mean, Clermont have got much more of a chance than Castres. Yeah, I think if Clermont do get parity on the territory game and they get a lot of 22 entries, I think they're probably going to win that game. But that one's, we think Bayonne will win. It's not certain. This game, I'm pretty sure Toulon will win. As much as I hate to put down the Castres team, but the Castres team is a team of incredible spirit who can pull these performances out of a bag. And whilst defensively their stats weren't great, attacking wise their stats aren't spectacular. Territory wise they're not even spectacular. Again, they're just stats. Castres have rotated their squad. They've taken a few hammerings. They've gone away and not performed at times because they have turned the team around. They've not got as much money as other teams, so they had to do that. They had to occasionally send the bin juice away from home, and when that happened, they got a few batterings. So those stats will be a little bit skewed because of that. But they go into a team that are difficult to play against. If you've gone to play Toulouse or Bordeaux, I don't know, even then, those two teams are incredible. They can attack, but if you get a bit of luck, if you smash them, if you shut them down at all angles, you got a chance. It's just, how are they going to stop this Toulon team from dominating territory, from getting the 22 and then just unleashing the power players they have? Also, Toulon have got that X Factor in the centres, X Factor at the half-back with Serran, the form he's been in this year. Great ball carriers in the pack. Yeah, it's going to be a tough day for Castres. I think 1 in 5 maybe for Castres winning this game. The Clermont-Bayonne games for Clermont's 2 in 5. So I think they got more chances there.
Castres have had 1 win and 2 draws on the road in the regular season. However, when you actually look at some of their results, they have been really close, albeit they've sent rotated teams. They have been close, so I think that does speak to, and this is probably, this is the reason, as you've already mentioned, Castres are actually in the barrage. Just they are better than the sum of their parts. They collectively they've got something.
It's also they're better now at attacking and defending. The kicking game, I think, since losing Urdepaleta to Clermont, that's probably suffered a bit. The game management, kicking game intelligence, but Louis Lebrun is becoming a much better player, really good young French player. They're missing Bopelin at 10. When he's playing in attack, they're far, far, far more dangerous. They got some quality nines and still, yeah, the factor of Popolan was a dangerous at 15 or 10, just a deadly player. Dumoura's getting on now. He tends to come off the bench. So again, missing Popolan makes more of an influence there. The guy's a fantastic player, makes a big difference to their attack. But yes, they're more than the sum of their parts. The whole point about that town, if you want to watch the episode we did on Cast, it's a spirit. They got a soul there. It's about hard work. It's about being humble. It's about really going for the team and sacrificing yourself. So that's the kind of values that have led them into the top 6 this year.
So I think we're saying Toulon and Bayonne, we're predicting will emerge 3rd and 4th. So presumably that will be Bayonne going to Toulouse, if that happens, and Toulon going to Bordeaux.
Remember, semis, unlike Pro D2, they adopt a town for the semis. That's going to be Lyon. So the first semi-final will be Friday night, which will be Toulouse, the Toulouse semi, and then Bordeaux will play the Saturday in Lyon the week after.
Yeah, big games. But there is another massive game happening this weekend, Saturday evening, before the Saturday night game, the Access game, with a place in the top 14 on the line for either Perpignan to continue there or Grenoble to get over the heartbreak of losing the Pro D2 final, which we saw live here on FI UK, of course. Sam Davis in tears at the end, or at least holding back the tears, but I don't know. I don't know what sort of an emotional journey that Grenoble team have been on, because it isn't just the last week. It's the last 2 years.
I've never done it. With UBB, once we had to play like a European playoff final against Gloucester the week after losing the game, which would have, just after getting promoted a few years before, we would have finished 5th in the league. It would have been incredible. And the whole week, everyone's like it was like a morgue. It was terrible. Somehow the team got up for it and just said, sod it on the day. First 5 minutes we were brutal, and then after that we just killed it, and they ended up smashing Gloucester. It was a random game in Worcester to qualify for the European Cup. That's as close as I've got, but 3 finals in a row, thinking about that all week, trying to get back to the top 14. I think I don't know, the mental strength of their players is going to be the key here. The fact that they maybe choked a little bit in that second half might come back to haunt them during the game. It's just, will they be able to get their heads into the position where they can beat a Perpignan team that are very good, motivated and dangerous? This is what we're going to get to. They nearly beat Montpellier last year, but Montpellier were in a mess at the time, an absolute mess. This is different.
Being at home is going to be a significant factor, though, isn't it? Because they were absolutely bouncing that place in the semi-final.
Yeah, and also mentally, you got nothing to lose. They're Montauban now. They're the team going in with nothing to lose, just can give it a crack. So mentally, it's a far, far easier approach. And you saw against, the other reason they played so well against Montpellier last year is they messed up their final. It's just, will that messing up the final again, going to this game a week later, again have an effect on them that's different to that one? Hopefully we'll see the Grenoble team come out with that freedom, because they've got nothing to lose. They've already had their bad performance. They're not going to be leaving anything in the change room this time. They'll put it all out on the pitch. But Perpignan are good. Perpignan beat Toulouse deservedly last week. Perpignan beat Toulouse, scoring tries from their own 22. They had an ethos all year, which they follow through, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good at it. I mean, Van have really stepped up this year, so it's been a really competitive relegation dogfight. Perpy nearly got out of it as well they've tried to play their way up. So Grenoble are going to have to defensively be really hot against this Perpignan team. A Perpignan team are used to playing at the kind of levels where you beat Toulouse. So I don't see Grenoble winning it, despite the home advantage we talked about earlier having a huge effect on the team. Home advantage motivation, underdog motivation, that will push Grenoble on. But Perpy have got a lot of good rugby in the bank. If they produce anything like that, I think they should win.
Perpignan are a much better side than the absolute basket case of Montpellier was last year, which Grenoble just narrowly lost it in another Access match as well. So we'll see. I mean, the heartbreak could go even deeper for Grenoble, which, if it happens, is just gonna make next season in Pro D2 even more interesting to see how they react, how they respond, and where they go. But we've got a massive weekend of rugby coming up. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Hit subscribe on the channel so that you're all ready and prepared for the other content that's coming following the French international team, the top 14 playoffs, and, of course, Pro D2 live rugby next season. What are you doing at the minute, Joe? What has everyone just clocked off? Everyone on the beach from Brive?
I think everyone's still having psychological help for playing so badly. Most of the boys would have clocked off. Some guys who like training might have started touching a weight this week, but not many. Got to have a few weeks off. It's a long season. Got to recharge.
Well, go well, mate. Rest up, and we'll catch up with you soon.